Hello, good morning, and you're welcome to a new session with Samara Online Training. My name is Mohamed, and today's topic will be about the policy. So on policy, we have three different sections. We know that there is a statement of intent, and also there is the organizational section and the arrangement sections. Today's arrangement sections have to be in place within the policy. So what should be contained in this section? Arrangement section is the section that gives details of specific health and safety procedures used to assist the implementation of the policy statement on the ground or in the workplace. The arrangement section, it's actually including the health and safety code of practice. All of the code of practices that need to be followed while we are doing our operations on site. They have to be in place in this section. The accidents reporting and investigation procedures, how people will report their accidents, or if there is any accidents happen, how it can be reported. The investigations, procedures, and the follow-up also should be done within this section. The emergency procedures, it's most important part. Emergency procedure and also the fire drills procedure, they have to be set within this section. This risk assessment procedure, how those risk assessment and when they are to be carried, okay, and then when they are to be reviewed procedure. Also this it should be within this section. Also we have the control of exposure to specific hazards, like for example if we have chemicals, those are a specific hazard within our workplace, so we have to be controlled, or we have to also control the exposure to those chemicals through a procedure. It also should be set within the arrangement section. Okay, so also we have the machinery and electrical equipment, okay, the maintenance and the safety from those equipments. Also this should be arranged within the arrangement section. The permit to work procedures, which type of activities that need to be carried through a permit, and also what time allowed for each activity, and for example who's to be involved in this activity. Also this should be arranged, and there should be a separate permit to work procedure with a different type of permits. The PPEs, the number of PPEs being used by employees, when they are required and where in the workplace, also it should be determined in this section. For example, the use of earmuffs, we have to arrange that there is a level of noise. If it's exceeded, also it's recommended or it's mandatory to be worn within this area. So all of the PPEs usage within the workplace also should be arranged on the arrangement section. Then we have the HSE inspection and auditing process. The inspections is the workplace inspection or the workplace identification of hazards, and also the corrective actions that need to be taken on the workplace. We have also the auditing procedure, internal auditing or the external auditing to the workplace. Also it should be arranged in the arrangement section and when it should be carried out. The health and safety of contractors and visitors. Okay, selection of contractors, competent contractors, and also arrangements for visitors when within our workplace, where they can walk, where they can enter. Also, all of those should be arranged within the arrangement section. The provision of welfare facilities, and previously we have talked about those welfare facilities like the restrooms, washing rooms, bathrooms, toilets, and eating facilities. Those also should be provided within the workplace, and it should be arranged within the arrangement section. Training procedures and arrangements. Training should be given to everyone on within the organization, and for training there should be a specific procedure including the training matrix, who should be trained in what and when. All those should be arranged within the arrangement section. The food safety. If we are providing our employees with the food during during their tasks, during their job. Also, it should be arranged within our arrangement section and arrangement for consultation with our staff or with the safety committee or with the employees representative committee. Okay, and the last part is the waste disposal procedure. Who is or how actually we can dispose our waste. Also, this should be arranged within the arrangement procedure. Okay, so also within the policy, the benchmarking or the concept of benchmarking also should be included there. What do you mean by benchmarking? This is to compare yourself against a specific criteria. This specific criteria can be from a previous performance, and also it can be from your industry, okay, from a different industry, from a different what I mean is factories within your industry, or you also can compare yourself against a different or other industries. Okay, this is the benchmarking, comparing your performance or your current performance against a previous performance, or you're comparing your performance among the others, or against others within your industry, or the others outside your industry. Okay, if you're working, for example, in the chemicals, you can compare your performance, okay, within your industry, the chemical industry, or you can compare it to a tiles industry, for example, or pharmaceutical industry. So the views of interested parties, also this should be included within the policy. So what do you mean by views of interested parties? Views of interested parties, those are the feedbacks coming from the interested parties in our health and safety performance, or health and safety policy, or health and safety management system. All of those interested parties, they have their own views on how you are managing your health and safety. So interested parties, including the regulators, including the stakeholders, including the insurers, the insurance companies, and also including the public, okay, or neighbors also. They are included within the interested parties, and also the interested groups. Interested groups, those can be an international bodies, and also they can be a local government or a local non-governmental organizations. Regulators, those are the governmental organizations. Okay. The financial, operational, and business requirements, also this should be included within your policy. Within your policy, you have to decide your financial resources to maintain a good health and safety management standards within your organization. So what about your budget for this year, for the next year? These are financial requirements, financial issues to run or to operate your health and safety plan for this year. The operational requirements, here we mean the company priorities. Okay, company priorities towards the benefits, and also towards the other priorities. Okay, internal risks, and also the cost of accidents. Some organizations, if there is an accident happen, there will be a severe consequences, so they will run out of business, okay, within those times. So their costs are very high, so they have priorities to prevent, or they have priorities more to prevent risks, or to prevent accidents or incidents that could happen. The business requirements, here we are talking about the client priorities. Client priorities, those are the stakeholders or the client. If we are a contractor, our client priority also should be taken into account. The external risks, okay, and here we mean the adverse publicity, our reputation, our image, and the public also should be considered within our requirements of the policy. So, as a summary of what should be included in our policy, there is a general statement of intent, okay, and also there is our part for objectives, and also the organization responsibilities for everyone on the company, including the managers, supervisors, engineers, and workers. And also we have a different part for arraignment section and arraignments that should be in place. Those arraignments including our health and safety code of practices, our permit to work system, our PPE's requirements, any different situation that should be arranged, including the emergencies, fire and safety, fire safety requirements, emergency drills, and also the arrangements for machinery, for inspection, for audit, for example, for training. Okay, also should be considered within this section, the arraignment section. The benchmarking, which also should be included within our policy, that to compare yourself against yourself on a previous performance, or to compare yourself within your industry, or to compare yourself with other industries. Okay, just to either copy standards from them or to compare your standards to them to make a balance. Okay. The views of interested parties, and we have just explained who are they, or who those interested parties. Interested parties here we mean stakeholders, we mean regulators, we mean public, and also we mean insurance, we mean the interested groups, okay, or the organizations, either governmental or non-governmental, both of them. The technological options also should be included within the policy. The financial, operational, the business requirements also should be included. The standards and review period for your policy also should be considered when we plan for having a robust management system. Okay, signature of the statement should be done by the CO, as it's been explained within the statement of intent, why it should be signed by the CO to gain the power, okay, or to give the power, and also to set out the budget. Here we have a very good question, which is how the policy should be communicated, how we can communicate the policy. The policy, there is several different ways of communicating our policy. For example, we can communicate it through our website or by emails, okay, or for example, we can communicate it by putting it in a big poster in front of our company lobby, for example. This can be also a method of communication. In our leaflets also it can be written there. So communication of the policy is very important to make sure that everyone gain the ownership of this policy, and also everyone is tend to follow our policy and going towards our objectives, to achieve those objectives and to achieve those targets. So how often the policy should be reviewed and why? This is a very common question. This policy actually, by time we have to change it, we have to make some changes. If there is any change also happen within the workplace, why we have to review the policy. So for answering this question, let's know how often the policy should be reviewed. There is some different situations that lead us to review the policy, or even, for example, change a part of the policy. First of all, if there is any serious accidents or dangerous occurrence, like for example a leak of gas, but fortunately we don't have any fatalities, okay, there is any serious accidents with the fatalities or even with the casualties, or if there is no any fatalities, okay, we have to review the policy. So that means there is something wrong within our risk assessments. The risk assessment, it's a part of the arraignment section and it's a part of the policy. The organizations, if there is any change in the organizational chart, for example, if it's being changed, we have to make sure that the policy has been changed. So there will be a different responsibilities. The responsibilities also might be changed, so we have to change it. If we change the personnel, if the CO, for example, is being changed, if the maintenance manager is being changed, there will be a new maintenance manager. For example, this maintenance manager might have less experience, so we have to make sure that this is included within our policy, so we have to review. Work methods and procedures, if we change the way of doing our work, also we have to make sure that the policy being changed and being reviewed. The legislation, it's important to review your policy whenever there is a change in laws in your country. The feedback from the staff, if those staffs they are giving you a feedback of suffering an illness, for example, while they are doing their work within your workplace, so you have to review your policy. There is something wrong within this policy, so this policy and this risk assessment, it's not covering the workplace properly. If it found to be no more totally effective, if it's, for example, leased for several months and we feel that there is the number of accidents, it's increasing. So that means there is something wrong within our policy. Okay, so it's not effective to control the risks within our workplace, so we have to make sure that it's being reviewed. The feedback from manufacturers and the insurance companies sure will be inspected by third parties, like for example manufacturers or the insurance companies. If they have any feedbacks or reviewing on our company, also we have to make sure that this included in our review of our policy. The findings from external health and safety audit. External health and safety audit and auditing, for sure, it's for the management system. Auditing, it's not for the workplace. We audit our management system to make sure that this management system is effectively running our operations. So when we review this health and safety audit by an external parties, there will be some findings. The final report of this audit should be considered. The outcomes should be considered within our review of the assessment, or we have to review our risk assessment whenever there is any findings or there is an outcomes from this audit. The enforcement action being taken. What do we mean by enforcement action? Enforcement action is when we have something wrong in our workplace, the regulator or the enforcement authority give us a notice that this something should be changed. So that's mean something wrong with our workplace. So for sure we have to review the policy. Long time since last review, and it's recommended, highly recommended actually, to review your policy periodically, okay, annually or every 6 months or every quarter. You have to review your policy. So the benefits of having health and safety policy. So what do you mean by having benefits from that? The benefits actually it's including a support to the staff development, so there will be new trainings, the new competency levels within our staff. So this is one of our benefits. Improving the communication and consultation and communication. It's one of these important sections that need to be considered when we arrange. Minimizing the financial losses by setting out a good policy within your workplace. So that means you have a very good risk managing arrangements on the workplace, so there will be less financial losses on your workplace. Direct involvement of senior management. Whenever there is an issue, the involvement of senior management is must within our policies, because the policy or the statement of intent is signed by the CEO, so for sure he will be involved in any process. So we will gain the ownership and also we will gain the improvement quickly by having persons with power within our health and safety managing in the workplace. Improving the supervision, so it means young employees they will be supervised by the most senior persons or by the senior persons, so there will be an improvement in the supervision process. So young employees will be in a less hazardous situations. The improve of productivity, we will limiting our number of accidents being happen, and number of accidents happen. So that means there is a loss of time, there is also a loss of experienced employees. Okay, so we will improve the productivity by limiting those things on the workplace. Improve public image. While we are having a very good policy, less number of accidents, or for example no accidents, a very short LTI, lost time injuries. Okay, so we will gain a very good public image and a very good reputation. Okay, and the last thing is the tender opportunities. Tendering, sure, they will have to look at your past experience, they will look at your past clients. So whenever you have a very good policy, less number of accidents, there will be a more good opportunity or a great opportunity to gain on tenders. Okay, so thank you very much and see you soon.